This is a very good question. Having investigated homicide cases, obviously before they're tried, all the way through trial, I hope, and I know the NYPD Police Department worked with them many times, they are on their game. They're not only looking at proving and connecting the forensics to show that he did it. I think they're going to be able to do that. It's going to be a slam dunk. The issue that they should be concentrating, and I'm sure their legal team, is what will be the defenses in the case. And the only kind of defense you're going to get in this case, especially with this 3-page screed where he's clearly talking about his intent, his purpose, is whether or not he's got a mental health defense. And I keep hearing people talk about this. Listen, 95% of the murder cases I tried, people had mental health illnesses. That is not the legal standard. You're not going to be able to prove insanity with a case like this because it was premeditated. It was goal-directed behavior. You're not going to be able to, in my opinion, do diminished capacity either. But what prosecutors need to do is go slow, think about what the defenses are going to be, because it's not just that he did it, it's blocking those defenses at the time of trial. And based upon this manifesto, I think that this defendant, given his intellectual capability, the way it was written out, the motive, is going to have a very good antidote to any defenses. And I'm going to tell you one last thing that I'd be looking at, and I'm curious as a prosecutor, is there a terrorism charge here?
Well, that's, it's interesting. So far, state charges like second-degree murder, we were wondering whether there'd be something where the feds might get involved. Is that what you're saying, Bob? Real quick, before I go back, I want to ask David something about another piece of evidence. But is that what you think the feds get involved, Bob?
I think the feds are going to look at this manifesto as a way of influencing public policy, scaring people, going after a particular target in order to achieve a social objective. I think it's close.
It's not only the manifesto, it's this notebook, the manifesto. Yeah. When we say manifesto, which is, I don't know if that's the right word even to use, it's a few pieces of loose leaf or whatever. You know, a piece of paper, and he wrote down all his thoughts, right? You know, and that's what we're talking about. So I don't know, Bob, if that'll play into it at all, that everybody wants to jump in and say, hey, listen, this is not the answer. You can't be doing this. So any charge that you could find, anybody who wants to charge it, maybe that sends a message. I don't know.
I can assure you, as a person who ran a prosecutor's office, I would be working with every law enforcement agency, federal, Pennsylvania, and New York, to jack him up on every charge possible, because despite the fact that I've had many problems with the healthcare industry or whatever other industry or that execution is not appropriate. So I want to make a maximum statement here.
All right, Bob and David, thank you. We'll have more on this case as it develops.